Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I'm going to be talking about Robin Hobb's books and like how to read them, reading order I guess, and a bit about like the series. And so we're going to be talking about The Realm of the Elderlings, just to like be clear, because I know she has like a few other books, but what we're mainly talking about is what we are only talking about is The Realm of the Elderlings books. And yeah, so we're just going to talk about a reading order if you are new to her books and wanting to get into them, because recently I have been loving her books. After a slightly like rocky start, I've been getting into them and just really enjoying them. And they're definitely like a quieter type of book. Like she's very focused on the kind of characters and sort of their like emotional journeys almost. Like sometimes you don't even feel like the character has grown exactly, but they've kind of grown on you. I don't know if that makes sense. And she's so good at like character work and changing your minds on characters, and just, yeah, the way she crafts them is just genius. And like there's some good like politics, but I wouldn't say if you were looking for like action-packed, fast-paced fantasy, they're kind of really the books you should go for. They're more like quieter. I find them very like relaxing to read in a really weird way, but often they deal with some quite like dark topics and they can be quite heavy and quite emotional. So if you like that kind of thing, then this might be the series for you. But yeah, no, they're just really kind of, while you're reading them you feel like nostalgic, like it's very kind of classic fantasy, but also just the kind of emotional ride you go on with these characters. It's just very like, I don't know, she's a master author is all I will say. I'm going to be talking about reading order, and full disclosure, I haven't read every single book of hers. To be honest, I haven't even read that many of the whole scope of things, but I wanted to do this reading order because like I think now I'm like far enough in that I've kind of worked out the reading order, so it might be helpful if you're like completely new. Also Nicole's gonna come for me here, but I haven't read the last two books in the FARSEER trilogy, which is the first book. The first trilogy, sorry. I am planning on going back and reading them, I promise, but I will explain my reasoning further as the video goes on. So basically a summary is, it's made up of 5 trilogies, although one of them is a quartet, but we'll just, for ease, we'll call it 5 trilogies. 3 of which follow mainly FITZ as the main character, FITZ Chivalry Farseer, who I'll talk about in a minute. But so first of all we have the Farseer trilogy, and then in the middle you have the Tournament Man Trilogy, and then at the end you have the FITZ and the Fool trilogy. So they're like the 3 FITZ trilogies, and then you also have the LIVESHIPS Traders trilogy, and then the RAINWILD Chronicles, which are actually 4 books. So the order would be like Farseer trilogy, LIVESHIPS trilogy, Tournament Man Trilogy, RAINWILD Chronicles, and then FITZ and the Fool trilogy. I will go through that in like more detail. So yeah, so that's like the overall picture. So the first series, the FARSEER trilogy, the first one is Assassin's Apprentice, then Assassin's Quest, then Royal Assassin. Have I got those the right way around? Yeah, Assassin's Apprentice is like the first place to start, I guess, although you can start with LIVESHIPS, but I'll talk about that when I get to LIVESHIPS. There's a lot of pinging back and forth in this video, I'm sorry, I'm a bit chaotic. So anyway, so yeah, so start with Assassin's Apprentice, and in this one we're following FITZ, who is the bastard son of the Farseer line. So the Farseer line is like the line of kings, and FITZ basically discovers he's a bastard, or like, yeah, and he sort of gets brought into the kind of royals, but not like brought in as a royal. He sort of gets brought in as like, he becomes apprentice to Chade, who is like the kind of palace spy master almost, and like the assassin, and he sort of performs, but it's very like, because I think when I first read it I was expecting like, you know, like dramatic assassins, but it's not. It's very like quiet assassin, like the kind of slipping poison into tea and like undermining political rivals type thing. So yeah, so largely the first book is just FITZ kind of growing up, and also finding he has this skill called the wit, which is where he can like communicate with animals, but this is quite looked down on in the world. So he like forms this bond with this dog, but then like they have to hide it, and there's like drama, and so yeah, there's a lot going on. But I think when I read the first one I wasn't that like connected or invested in it, So then I didn't really carry on with like the series or any of it until I started reading the LIVESHIPS series. So I just skipped straight because I thought I wouldn't then like the rest of the books in the like FITZ, the FARSEER trilogy. But now I've read Fool's Errand, which is the like first book in the Tournament Man Trilogy, which we'll come to. I actually really like FITZ. He's grown on me so much. So now I want to go back and read the other two in that series, because I think we're just following FITZ all the way through as he sort of grows up and he kind of becomes the assassin, like the king's assassin, and he sort of has this bond with the king, and there's various other things going on. I think they go on this like quest at one point, well, I guess it's in the name, and it's just a kind of exploration of like his character and the decisions that you make, I guess. I don't know if that really makes sense, but anyway, so that's the FARSEER trilogy. And then next we have the LIVESHIP Traders series. So the first one is Ship of Magic, and then the Mad Ship, and then Ship of Destiny. And this series you could read first, like without any context of the other series, because it's set like they're all in the same like realm, but they're quite separate like places in the country and there's not much crossover. So I essentially read Ship of Magic without having read the FARSEER trilogy. I mean, I had read Assassin's Apprentice, but I hadn't read either of the other two. And I mean, I think there are quite a few Easter eggs, some of which I knew because like I know some people who like love Realm of the Elderlings on Twitter, but some of them I obviously kind of missed or went over my head because I guess I'm saying you can read LIVESHIPS first, especially if that interests you. But I have heard that the LIVESHIP series does spoil the magic system that you learn about in the FARSEER trilogy. So if you want like the complete experience, I guess read FARSEER first. But I do feel like in the LIVESHIPS you do kind of learn about the magic, so you're kind of discovering it through that one anyway. So I would say you could start with either really. Or do what I did and skip to them. No, I don't endorse that. At least I didn't start with like book 2 in the series or something, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so the LIVESHIP series, we're following this place called Bingtown, which is like a kind of harbour trading port. And we're mainly following one family called the Vestrits, who are, it's like a trader family, and they own this LIVESHIP, and LIVESHIPs are like ships that can kind of talk and like have their own sort of personalities, I guess. And yeah, their LIVESHIP, the Vivacia, and at the start of the book the Vivacia like quickens, so essentially like comes alive, and there's various like drama going on in the family. So we have Althea, who is like the daughter of the old captain of the Vivacia, but he dies like at the very beginning. That's like the first scene or something, his funeral. So Althea now thinks she's going to inherit the LIVESHIP, but actually it goes to her sister's husband instead, and so Althea runs away, and that's one storyline. And then you also have various other characters. Original captain's wife, Ronica, who I love. She reminds me a bit of Navani, but yeah, she's great. And then the other daughter, so Althea's sister, Kefria. And I actually really love Ronica and Kefria's like story, because it's a lot quieter, and it's like the kind of women like saving the world with their own power, and they don't have to be like super badass. They're just like using their kind of wiles and like political savvy. I don't know, I really like that. And then you also there's some younger Vestrits as well, like Malta and Selden, and Wintrow. I can't believe I forgot Wintrow. But yeah, and they're the children of Kefria and Kyle, who is Kefria's husband, who like kicks Althea off the ship or takes her place as captain. So yeah, there's all this drama going on in the Vestrits world. And then at the same time you also have this pirate called Kenneth, who is trying to like become the pirate king and like unite all the pirates under his rule and get a LIVESHIP for himself, and also try and free the slaves. So I feel like Kenneth's like, because normally you see like good characters having to do bad things, but Kenneth is like a bad character doing good things, which is kind of an interesting perspective to like explore. But again, it's quite like a big epic sort of world. And if you like shippy type settings, because I really love the like stuff set on the sea, and it's not exactly pirates, but like it's still those kind of vibes. Also, if you're looking for Easter eggs, well, I mean, I'm not an expert on Easter eggs by any means, but one of the characters, Amber, in the LIVESHIPS is the fool from the main FITZ series. So yeah, so once you've read both of those two, And I would say read both of them before you start the rest of the books. You could read them in either order though. Although again, if you want to be not spoiled, if you want to be like proper about the order, then read the FARSEER trilogy and then the LIVESHIPS trilogy. But if you're like me, then do whatever. Yeah, okay, and then after that we have the Tournament Man Trilogy, which is, the first one is Fool's Errand, and then the Golden Fool, and then Fool's Fate. And again in this one we're following FITZ as the main character, and it's FITZ's POV still, so it's all told in first person, which is the same as the FARSEER trilogy. I forgot to mention that. But LIVESHIPS is all third person. And it's about 15 years after the events of the FARSEER trilogy. So at the start, FITZ is kind of living in his little cabin in the woods. But he gets like pulled back into the drama of Bookkeep, which is the like main like place where the like Farseers rule from. Because the like king in waiting, who I think is the prince because he's not old enough yet, has gone missing, so FITZ then has to like try and look for him. And also at the same time there's this drama going on with these witted people, and the witted are like the magic, so FITZ has the magic because it's like him and with this bond with this dog in the first book, but then he also bonds with this wolf. I feel like I'm just blatantly spoiling the series. Oops. But anyway, so yeah, so there's this magic that is very like persecuted, so people with the magic are persecuted, and it's basically magic where you can like bond with an animal, and then they like share thoughts and stuff. So there's also all that drama like going on, and I think it's thought that the prince is maybe witted and that's why he's gone missing, so they're trying to solve that. But again, and the first book, because I've only read Fool's Errand out of this series, is very sort of reflective, and it sort of fits like looking back on his life so far, and then it sort of becomes into the newest story. But I actually really like that sort of reflective quality of it. And yeah, FITZ is a very interesting character. And also we have the Fool as another one of the main characters, and the Fool is probably one of my favourite like characters in fiction. Not obviously not as much as like Kaladin, because no one could ever beat Kaladin, but I really love the Fool. Like they're like up there. And as well as Amber also, I love her. But yeah, so they're kind of gender fluid. And yeah, they're just so entertaining, and FITZ and the Fool have such a like, their friendship, like the platonic sort of soulmates, and oh, it's just so good. And like, oh, like read the series for FITZ and the Fool, like their whole dynamic is just so good. Oh, yeah, so, and I don't know where the rest of the events of the Tournament Man Trilogy goes, but I feel like that's probably not in the scope of this video because it would be getting quite spoilery to talk about that. So yeah, so that's that series. And then after that we have the RAINWILD Chronicles. So this is kind of back in the world of the LIVESHIPS series, and we're mainly following the RAINWILD. So in the LIVESHIPS series there's kind of this place up the river where LIVESHIPS like almost come from, like the wood that makes the LIVESHIPS. And that's quite a bit, it plays quite a big part in the story of the original trilogy. So now we're sort of following the RAINWILDs themselves and the dragon who like looks after them, who is also a character in the LIVESHIPS books. So I think it's set like a few years after the LIVESHIPS books finish. So yeah, I don't really know what the storylines of those are, but the order of them is, I will get my thing out so it's not wrong. So we have the Dragon Keeper, Dragon Haven, City of Dragons, and Blood of Dragons. So I'm guessing there's quite a lot of dragons in the series. But I mean, if you like dragons, there are dragons in like all the Elderlings books. I can't confirm that. There's dragons in the LIVESHIPS series anyway. And I'm pretty sure there's dragons in the original series. And I guess there's going to be some coming up in the Tournament Man books. But yeah, I'm doing typical like medical student this video where you like talk confidently about a subject you have no clue about. Yeah, so anyway, that's the RAINWILD series, and I feel like by that point you're pretty invested in the series, so it's really just the like order, you wouldn't need to know what it's about. And then the final series is the FITZ and the Fool series, which again following FITZ and the Fool, and I think again it's many years later after that, And I'm pretty sure I read from the synopsis of the first one, it also starts with FITZ in a cabin in the woods. So yeah, and I don't really know what that was about. I think it has something to do with Fitz's daughter B, and like she goes missing or something, I don't know. But those books are Fool's Assassin, Fool's Quest, and then Assassin's Fate. So that is the order. Again, I'm sorry for the not very good like synopses of the later books. But yeah, I haven't read them, so maybe I'll do an updated version of this once I've read them all. But also I feel like you can't really go wrong with that reading order. However, there is evidence to show that reading Fool's Assassin before you finish the RAINWILD Chronicles, so before Blood of Dragons, so you would like read, so once you read the Tournament Man Trilogy, then you would read Dragon Keeper, Dragonhaven, City of Dragons, Fool's Assassin, Blood of Dragons, Fool's Quest, Assassin's Fate. That's like publication order, I think. And I've also heard that the last series, the like Fool and the Fitz, Fitz and the Fool series, there's quite a big storyline in that one involved with the like RAINWILDs and LIVESHIPS storylines, so it's probably best to have like read them all to tie it all together at that point. So yes, that is my reading order for Robin Hobb. I'll leave like in the description like it just written out in case this video made no sense to you, because it's just me rambling. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you read any of her books and if you enjoyed them, or if you're wanting to get to them and where you think you'll start. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you next time.